Hello and welcome back to my photography channel, and welcome to a somewhat rainy Stockholm this summer. Today I'm talking about a camera that I acquired about a year ago. I've been wanting to talk about it since I reviewed the Panasonic Lumix LX3 and LX5 cameras, but I haven't got around to it and I've been shooting a lot of film, so I didn't pick it up for quite a while actually. It's also one of those older digicams that's been popping up and rising from the ashes lately, the last couple of years. It's very nice to see those old cameras rise up again and get sort of a second life. Yet again, being able to create some lovely memories for someone else instead. And a very, very viable and good alternative to the expensive cameras being produced today. As I am quite weather sealed, but the camera I'm going to talk about is not. I was trying to find a good spot to continue this conversation. Like a wise old man said, when in doubt always return to an old crime scene, so to speak. And I recalled that the spot that I was filming the review for my XT1 wasn't that far away actually. So I headed there straight away to protect myself and the camera from the weather. So let's not beat around the bush any longer. Let's introduce the star of the show, the main focus, so to speak. So there it is in all its splendor, the Pentax MX1. So why has the Pentax MX1 attracted such a following lately? And why is it so popular to review nowadays on YouTube? Well, it's not that hard to figure out that some of the appeal comes from its good looks. An homage to the old film camera Pentax MX. You can really see the similarities here when I hold it in my hands. As you can see here, I was just about to go into some details and technical specifications of the camera, and also what I thought about it after using it a while. I was walking around, explaining things and taking you for a tour of the surroundings and the magnificent pavilion, when something caught me off guard. I heard a couple of noises and I turned around. I wasn't alone anymore. I was in the company of two magnificent beasts that had entered the pavilion. The first cat's name was Indy, and the second cat's name that I found out a few seconds later was Yoda. Indy was the brave one of the cats, and a very curious one at that. He was running all around here during the interaction. While Yoda here was a little bit more careful, he was actually blind on both eyes. Something that made me very sad hearing initially, but after some explaining from the very nice mother Esther, how well Yoda had adjusted to her new life as a blind cat made me feel somewhat better inside. While we were chatting, you could see here Indy was getting more and more comfortable with his situation, just lying down, feeling good about life and everything else. I was actually also finding out while we were talking that Esther was also a photographer, from Spain originally, now living here in Sweden. Quite close by to this magnificent area. It was a lot of fun getting to know her and hearing her story coming here into Sweden and about the cats and their life here. But also just getting to know someone through this great interest and hobby that we all share, photography. Just lets you meet people from all over the world and hearing their stories. Yeah, it's a large part why I love photography so much, to be honest. It was very nice meeting Esther and her cats, and we also, during this moment, found out that we had some common opinions about camera gear and photography in general, which was also very nice to hear. But now they had to leave, and I was about to continue the story about the Pentax MX1. But you will find out in a funny way why this fateful meeting had some significance to the MX1 later in this video. Stay tuned and then you will find out why. So now that Esther and the cats had left, it was time for me to get back talking about this wonderful little camera. Let's just go over some of the settings of the camera and some of the features that I like to use with the Pentax MX1. The camera feels very good in hand. It's got a nice heft to it, as I commented on before. It's covered with a rubbery leatherette all around, feels like real leather. It's very nice and grippy to hold. It has a brass top plate and a bottom brass plate, which warms very nicely over time. So if we go up to the top here, we can see that you have the on and off button here. You have the shutter button in front, which also works as a zoom. Then you have the exposure compensation wheel, very important wheel that I use a lot. And to the left here you have the mode and scene dial, which you choose if you choose in aperture mode or manual and so on. And also here on the far left of the camera you can also see the little handy pop-up flash. There's a little button there on the side of the camera that you push the flash upwards. And also then a quick tour on the back side of the camera. You have the screen there to the left, and up top here to the right you have the wheel where you choose your aperture, for example. Then you have some exposure locks right underneath of there, and then so also a little trash can button, the green one then. Then you have the wheel that's quite common on these kind of compact cameras with the flash settings, the macro settings, and some bracketing, and also the ISO button, which I use quite a lot to choose to go from auto ISO, for example, to regular ISO. And then you have the info button where you can choose some custom made settings that I use frequently as well. And then a menu button there to the far corner to the right. And we can't go over the back here without mentioning the articulating screen, which is very handy in street photography and being creative in general. And if you go around to the front of the camera, there really isn't much to speak about here. There is an AF assist light here on the front side, and also the lens and zoom, so nothing else here to really talk about. And also on the bottom side of the camera we got the tripod thread and also the battery door, of course. If we go over some of the important features that I think you should know about, we can start with the autofocus, for example. You have a few different modes and options here, the AFS, the AFC, and you have auto or spot and tracking and select. So obviously I use the AFS and AFC quite a lot. I haven't really tried the tracking. I can't believe it's any good, to be honest, but it's really cool that they have that in there as well. Spot meeting, of course, is pretty important to have, and I think it's a sort of a premium feature on a compact camera like this, so that's good, I think. And then also, of course, the ND filter, very handy thing to have on sunny days, for example. And besides that, I would say the different color modes. You have some different film modes to choose from, not that many, but also the monochrome mode, which I use a lot. And then the macro, which is very usable on this camera. And I believe you can go up to like 1 centimeter from an object, which make you be able to go very close and get some nice macro shots. Now we come to the part where I will reveal the very exciting hidden hint I made in the past in the video. There's actually a setting on this camera where you can make all sounds, even the shutter button, sound like a cat meowing. Yeah, that's true. Let's look and see if I can find it and you will hear what I mean.
So I don't know if you can hear it, but now you can actually make all sounds, or all the buttons when I press them, sound like a cat. Yeah, that's right. People will think I'm having a cat here in my pocket, I think. Yeah. So it's a gimmick feature, and let's hear it again. Yeah. Pretty gimmick feature, and something I don't really care about having, but still it's a fun thing that they actually implemented that into the camera. I can understand why people are quite excited about that, especially people loving cats, of course. So yeah, I'm not sure how much I'm gonna use that.
And so before I leave and say goodbye, I wanted to show you a little slideshow with some images taken with the Pentax MX-1 since I got it last summer.
that's basically all I had to say about this gem of a camera, the Pentax MX1. And as you can see here around me, the rain just stopped and the sun came out. So I'm actually gonna go out into the streets of Stockholm and shoot some street photography before going home today. So yeah, let's go. Thank you.